Hi yogis, today we're going to be practicing a very slow flow with a focus on the element of water. You're not going to need any props for this class, so let's get started. So we're going to get started today by coming into child's pose. So in child's pose, you can either bring your knees together if you have been feeling a lot of pressure in your lower back lately. This is a good one to help open it up. Or you can start to bring the knees out to the sides, opening through the hips, bringing your big toes to touch. Rolling the hips back towards your heels. You're going to extend the arms out in front of you and place your forehead on the mat. Taking some time here to notice your breath. Notice how the breath is moving through your body. And taking some time to bring the breath more fully into the belly and the lungs. And fully releasing back out through the nose. Taking a few more belly breaths here. And on your next inhale, we'll lift the head off of the mat and walk the hands over to the left side. And if you'd like, you can place your right hand on top of your left, or you can keep them separated, releasing the forehead back down to the mat. Breathing into the sides of your body. Inhaling, lifting the head. We're going to walk both hands over to the right this time. Placing the forehead back down. Feeling the texture of the mat beneath your skin. We're going to move through the poses with fluid motions today. So as you inhale, start to lift the head, come into your tabletop position. And we'll start by moving our hips in circles here. So you're going to walk your hands a little more forward than you normally would in a tabletop. And just start to move your hips over to the right. Pull them back like you're pulling into your child's pose. Move your hips over to the left and then come back to center. Finding your rhythm as you move within these circles. If there's an intention you'd like to set for your practice today, you can do that now. Maybe just thinking to yourself, what brought me to my mat today? Once you come back to center, we're going to move in the opposite direction. Nice and slow, full circles. Just like the element of water, finding fluid movements. And making your way back to center here. We'll start to tuck the toes under and move into our down dog. And then coming back to center here, we're going to start to shift forward so that our shoulders are on top of the wrists, and then exhale, release all the way down to the belly. And then from here, we're going to bring the hands a little further out to the side than you normally do, coming up onto your fingertips. Elbows are on top of your wrists. And as you inhale, Start to roll the heart up, look forward. And as you exhale, release down. 2 more times here. Inhale, roll in like the ocean waves. And exhale, releasing down. Inhale, roll back up. And exhale, release back down. Bringing the hands back in line with the chest as we start to pull back into our child's pose again. We're going to take a few rounds here, a couple of vinyasas, shifting forward so that the shoulders stack. Release down to the belly. Inhale, come up into your baby cobra. And exhale, pull back, child's pose. 2 more times. Follow your rhythm. Notice what you feel within your body. And coming back up to center here. We'll start to tuck the toes under, lift the hips, and pull back into our downward facing dog. And taking your time here, just moving the feet back and forth. And then starting to come into stillness here as we bring the shoulder heads back, releasing the heels towards the earth. On your next inhale, looking in between your hands, walking the feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release into your forward fold. So when you release here, you can keep your hands on the ground, or maybe you want to grab opposite elbows as you gently sway from side to side. Taking your time, breathing into the spaces that feel sensation. And as you exhale, releasing the hands back down to the earth. As you inhale, we're going to roll up the spine, slowly, steadily, bringing the crown of the head up last as we make our way into our mountain pose. Palms are facing forward, feet are rooted. And just close your eyes here. Noticing your thoughts within your mind. And imagining those thoughts like waves in the ocean. And some thoughts may be bigger than others. Maybe the waves are crashing instead of rolling. And take a moment to see one thought. Notice how it looks in its wave form. Say, I see you. And as you exhale, say, I release you. Allowing that wave to dissipate back into the ocean. And as we move through our practice today, if there's ever a thought that comes into the mind that starts to distract you from the rest of the practice, come back to this wave imagery. And on your next inhale, blinking the eyes open, arms rise up and overhead. And as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, roll back down into your fold. Inhale, start to roll all the way back up. Standing in your mountain pose. We'll do this again here. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, release into your fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. And exhale, releasing back down. Inhale, roll up the spine. Take your time. Nowhere to be but here. Back into mountain. And one more time. Inhale, arms rise. Breathe into the fingertips. Exhale, release into your fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, releasing back down. Inhale, rolling back up. Stacking the head last. And back into your mountain pose. Moving on from here, inhale, arms rise. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift halfway. And on your next exhale, we're going to pull the left leg back behind us and release into Anjaneyasana, or low lunge. So your back toes can be tucked or lay flat here. 90-degree bend in the front knee. Coming up onto your fingers to start, pulling the chest forward. Left hip pulls forward to meet the right. Just staying here for a breath. And on your next inhale, start to lift the arms up and over. As you exhale, bring the elbows out to the sides, cactus arms, look up. Inhale, arms back up to frame the ears. Exhale, cactus arms out to the sides. Inhale, rise back up. And one more time. Exhale, release the elbows out. And inhale, reach back up. On your next exhale, release the hands down. Lengthen through the front leg so that you're coming into half splits. Inhale, heart to toes. Exhale, chin to shin. Finding that fluidity within your breath. Thinking of water moving through our bodies, because our bodies are mostly water. And thinking about how that breath moves within the water of our bodies. Moving just as freely, flowing in and out. And placing the sole of your right foot back onto the mat. We're going to face the left side of our mat. Bring your left foot to come back so that it's behind your knee. And then we're going to lengthen this right leg out to the side. Toes point forwards. And from here, start to walk the hands up so that you are starting to stack the torso on top of the hips. Hands come onto the hips, and maybe your right hip is a little higher than left, so pull that right hip down. Right hand can come above or below the right knee as our left hand reaches up and over to the side. Finding one more breath here. Good, and then starting to come back to center. We're going to bring the hands down, and I'm going to flip so that you can see me here. And we're going to bring the hands down underneath the shoulders. We're going to move through a couple of cat-cows here. So as you inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. And as you exhale, round through the spine. 2 more cycles of breath here. Connecting your movements to your breath. And then from here, we'll start to make our way back to the top of the mat. walking our hands forward to frame that front foot. Front toes point towards the top of the mat. And then your left toes are going to tuck under, lift that back knee, and then pull back into your plank. Starting to shift forward, lower all the way down or halfway chaturanga. Inhale into your cobra or your upward facing dog, lifting the knees, pulling your heart forward. And exhale, downward facing dog. And taking full steady breaths here. Flowing in and out smoothly, without restriction. And looking in between your hands, walking the feet back up. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release into your folds. And you can stay right here with your hands on the ground. Maybe you grab opposite elbows again, or maybe you reach back behind you and grab the back of your legs. Finding fluidity within the poses themselves. Even if we're not moving through vinyasa, can you find fluidity by breathing deeply and releasing with every exhale a little more into the posture. Releasing your hands down. As we inhale, lift halfway. As you exhale, we're going to pull the right leg back this time, coming into our little lunge on the other side. Fingertips come onto the mat as we make little adjustments within the body. Just feeling this pose as it is. And starting to make our way up. Hands come up to frame the ears. Exhale, release the arms out to the side, cactus arms. And then we're going to start to bring those hands forward so that we create a bowl with the hands as we bring the pinkies together. Inhale, arms reach up to the ears, and exhale, elbows out to the sides. Bring the hands forward, creating your offering of what this practice means to you today. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, elbows out to the sides. And allowing yourself to surrender to this pose, to this practice. Inhale, arms rise, and on your next exhale, release the hands down, pull the hips back, lengthen through the front leg. Finding length and space as you breathe in, and finding release as you breathe out. What does fluidity mean to you? Off of the mat, practice yoga, not just on this space, but in our everyday lives. What does fluidity mean to you off of this mat and in the world around you? From here, we'll bring the sole of the foot back down. We're going to move over to the right side this time as we lengthen through that left leg. Bring the foot forward, or the toes to point forward, and then walk the hands towards your body as you lift up. Hands come onto the hips, maybe bringing that left hip bone down a little bit. And then left hand comes above or below the knee, right arm reaches up and over towards your left toes. Good, and we'll start to come back to center and then bring the hands down as we move through 3 cat-cows here. Maybe that fluidity means finding flexibility within your schedule throughout your day. Maybe that fluidity means that you move seamlessly from one event to the next. Maybe that fluidity means that you find some peace and stillness within your day. Starting to move towards the top of the mat again, bending in that front knee, tucking the right toes under, lifting the back knee and pulling the left leg back, moving through your vinyasa. Flowing with the breath. And from here, we're going to move 3 times from plank to down dog. Just noticing how your spine feels as you move back and forth here. So rolling forward into your plank and then pulling back into your down dog. So I like to lift my heels first and then start to bring myself forward, shoulders stuck on top of the wrists, and then pull back into that down dog, bringing the heels back behind me. Good, and then from here, we're going to lift the right leg up and back behind us. Bend in the knee, open up the hip. Taking another breath here. And then lengthening that right leg long. We're going to bring the foot in between the hands. Spiral down your back heel so that we come up into our warrior 2. We're going to move back and forth here between our warrior 2 and our extended side angle. So as you inhale, we're going to come right here. And then as you exhale, we're going to bring the right forearm on top of the right thigh. Left fingertips reach forward. Good. And we're going to come back up. Warrior 2. Breathe in. And exhale, extended side angle. One more time here. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, extended side angle. We're going to add on to this now. As you inhale, we're going to come into reverse warrior. So you bring your left hand onto your back leg. Right arm reaches up and back, finding the side body stretch. And as you exhale, coming into your extended side angle again. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. One more time. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, extended side angle. From here, we're going to straighten through the front leg as we inhale, and then bring the right toes to face towards the left side of your mat. Inhale, hands come onto the hips, look up, elbows back, and exhale, forward fold. Hands come onto the mat. You can heel toe your feet out to the sides, bringing your forehead down. And you can start to walk the heels of your hands in line with the heels of your feet if you'd like. We're going to keep your hands exactly where they are. And from here, we're going to bring the hands back underneath the shoulders if they aren't already. And we're going to move back and forth within our legs here, moving just like the waves in the ocean. So from here, you're going to bend in the right knee, walk the hands over to the right leg, and then maybe come up onto your left heel here. If not, you can keep your foot onto the ground. And we'll start to lengthen through both legs, come back to center, bring the hands over to the left, and bring that right heel to the ground, toes up. And just start to move at your own pace here. Kind of like seaweed, moving back and forth with the waves. Finding, connecting the breath to your movements. And when you're ready, Bringing your right foot to point towards the top of your mat again, walking the hands over to free in that foot. Release your left knee down, release the top of your foot, and then bring your right foot to the right edge of your mat, making your way into lizard pose. You can stay right here on your hands. Maybe you want to come all the way down to your forearms here. You can also roll to the outer edge of your right foot as you bring your right knee out to the side. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, release through the hips. And these poses where we're opening through the hips can be where we notice our breath may not be flowing as freely as it did before. So find awareness around that. And start to bring the breath deeper into the belly. And coming back up onto your hands if you aren't already here, tucking the left toes under, lifting the back knee, pulling back into your plank and moving through your vinyasa flow. Good, and we're going to move back and forth between our down dog and our plank again. So as you inhale, start to shift forward, and as you exhale, pull back. 2 more times here. Noticing every inch of the body. And on your next inhale, we'll lift the left leg up and back, bend in the knee, open up the hip here. Keeping your right heel towards the earth. It's okay if it doesn't touch. Just finding that energy. And then straighten through the left leg, bring that foot in between the hands, we're going to move back into our warrior two. Finding your stance, focusing on your alignment, heel to arch alignment in the feet, arms into the T shape, squeezing those shoulder blades behind you. Inhale, and as you exhale, left forearm comes on top of the left thigh, reach the right fingertips forward. And inhale, come back up into warrior two. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, warrior two. And exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, warrior two. And moving on here, exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. 2 more times here. How are you finding fluidity within your everyday life? Inhaling, lengthening through the front leg. Bring both feet to point towards the right side of your mat. And this time, we'll bring the hands to clasp behind the back. If you're not comfortable with that, you can keep your hands on your hips. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, look up, and exhale, forward fold. The toes can be pointing forward, or the big toes can point slightly in. Sending little love notes of breath to the places where you feel the lengthening. And as you inhale, lift halfway. If your hands are bound, release them down to the ground. We're going to do the same thing we did on the other side, finding those seaweed fluid motions. So you can start on either side, just moving back and forth here. And if this is really intense for you, then you don't even have to lift your feet off of the ground. You can just move back and forth without so much of an opening. So find what feels good for you. Noticing your thoughts like waves in the ocean. lifting you, and I release you. And making your way back up to the top here. And releasing that right knee down. Left foot comes to the outer edge of your left side of your mat. You can stay on your hands or come back down onto the elbows. And so maybe you can find fluidity in your daily life by just noticing how you're breathing throughout the day. Taking a few moments throughout the day to check in with yourself and see how fluid your breath is moving within your body. Taking time to breathe fully into the belly, helping to release stress, bringing us back into a peaceful state. And as you inhale, coming back up onto the hands, hands are underneath the shoulders. Tuck the right toes under, lift the back knee, and pull that left leg back, moving through your flow. And shifting back and forth 3 times here. Fully in and out of each pose. And when you're ready, shifting forward and releasing down onto your belly, all the way down here. And from here, we'll bring the ankles together behind us. And we're going to bring our hands in line with our hips. As we exhale, bring the pelvis down. And as you inhale, start to roll up, bringing your gaze about 6 inches in front of you and down so that you keep the neck long. And you can stay right here, or you can start to lift the feet and the hands coming into your full locus. Still breathing. And as you release back down, bringing your left cheek down towards the mat, releasing your muscles. And then from here, you're going to bring your left arm out to the side. So your left arm is in line with your shoulder. If you need to, you can cactus arm. And then bend in your right elbow so that your hand is on the ground in line with your chest. Bend in your right knee and start to roll over towards the left side. This can help to open up your chest. And you can stay right here, or you can maybe stack the right leg on top of the left. Going into this gentle twist of the spine. And then as you exhale, come back to center. And we'll move over to the other side. So right arm comes long, right cheek is on the mat, bend left knee, and start to roll over towards the right side. Moving back to center here. We'll start to roll back into our child's pose. Placing the forehead back onto the mat. Coming into the ocean of our thoughts. And in Sanskrit, the moving around of our thoughts is called chittavrittis. Vrittis meaning whirlpool. So whirlpools like the fluctuations of the mind. And that deals with our element of water. Thinking of all those thoughts that may be swirling around. And when we pick them up one by one, and we look at them, and we acknowledge them, we can release their power by releasing our attachments to them. Just taking another round of breath here. As you inhale, lifting the head and bringing your feet out in front of you. So from here, we're going to move into a revolved Janushasana. And we're going to move back and forth from that to our baby wild thing. So we're going to start with our right leg long, left foot in. And from here, we're going to bring our right palm up so that our thumb comes underneath of our Achilles heel, so right in line with the ankle. Your left hand can start to come behind the head first, rolling the chest up to the sky. And you can stay right here, or you can start to reach your fingertips towards your right toes. Take a moment here. And then we're going to start to lift up, bring the left hand behind your left hip so that your fingertips are pointing back. And then start to reach your right fingertips forward and back as you lift your hips, roll to the top of your left shin, and open through the chest. So we're going to inhale here, and we're going to exhale back into our revolved Janushasana. Inhale, baby wild thing. And exhale back into your folds. And another time here. Inhale. And exhale. And we'll come back up to center. We'll make our way into Baddha Konasana. We're going to do some cobbler circles here. So your thumbs are going to come onto the inner arches of the feet. And we're just going to start to move forward to the side, back to the other side, and forward. Taking 3 circles in this direction. And 3 circles in the opposite direction. And we'll move into our little flow on the other side. Left leg is long, right foot comes in this time. Left palm is up, thumb comes underneath the Achilles heel here. Right hand reaches behind the head or reaches forward towards the toes. Making sure you're not collapsing the chest. If you're pulling down, think about rolling that shoulder behind your right ear. And then we'll move into our baby wild thing on this side. So right hand comes right behind or in line with your right hip. And then your left hand's going to sweep forward and back as you lift and lengthen in this little back bend here. And exhale, come back into your side fold. Inhale, back up into your baby wild thing. Breathe off. And baby wild thing. One more time. And as you exhale, come back through center. And then we'll just start to make our way up to the top of the mat. And as you exhale, release down. So you're going to keep your knees bent as you start to lay down here. And we're going to move into a little bridge flow here. So bring your heels in towards your glutes. Try and touch your heels with your fingertips and roll those shoulders underneath the back. Slight tuck of the chin here. And as you inhale, start to lift up through the hips and the heart center, coming into your bridge. You can stay right here, or on your exhale, you can start to release the hips back down until your back touches all the way to the floor. And then inhale, come all the way back up into your full bridge. And exhale, release back down. Try to keep the tops of your thighs rotated in towards each other so your legs don't move out to the sides too much. As we inhale, come back up. And exhale, release back down. Again here, inhale, reach up. And exhale, release down. One more time. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, release back down. Good. And from here, we'll just bring the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms around the fronts of the shins. And moving in some circles here with the knees. 3 times in one direction, and then 3 times in the opposite direction. And making your way into happy baby. Hands come onto the outer edges of the feet. Knees stack on top of or underneath the ankles as we bring those knees to the outsides of the rib cage. Release your lower back down towards the ground. And you can stay here, or you can start to move from side to side. And bringing the knees back into the chest. As you exhale, we're going to release along onto the mat, preparing for Shavasana. Before we go fully into Shavasana, take one hand and place it onto your chest and one hand onto your belly. Noticing and feeling the rhythm of your breath. Maybe noticing how it's changed throughout your practice today. Feeling the belly and the chest rise and fall, just like waves in the ocean. And taking this time to check back in with your thoughts. Noticing how the waves have changed throughout your practice. Maybe there are thoughts that seemed really big at the beginning of practice. And now that you've released, your attachments from them. They're just a ripple of a wave. Taking in one more breath into the waves of the mind. And exhaling, releasing your focus from them fully. As you turn your gaze into the body. Noticing each and every muscle, each and every bone starting to let go. As we release fully into the Shavasana. As you inhale, start to release the hands, maybe bringing them up and overhead as you point your toes forward, coming into a full body stretch. And as you exhale, bending the knees and rolling over to one side, using your arm as a pillow. Making your way up into a comfortable seated position for you. As we close our eyes and bring our hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra. Thank you for sharing in this practice. Taking in time today to notice how you can incorporate the element of water, of movement, fluidity, flexibility off of the mat and in your daily life. The light within me honors and sees the light within you. Thank you.